What I'd say is we have made significant progress with getting towards a resolution. That includes progress from where we were when I spoke to this last week, but we're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line, and we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
Conflict, and there was a huge...
You should know that typically when we say we're close, we have the caveat that nothing is final until everything is final, and that it takes the parties actually saying yes and getting there. I think you've also heard the Secretary say that oftentimes the very last stages of an agreement are the most difficult because the hardest issues are left to the end. That, of course, is true. Hopefully we'll get there with an agreement. We're pushing as hard as we can to get a diplomatic resolution that would allow these tens of thousands of people in Lebanon and Israel to return home, but ultimately that's up to the parties, not to us.
First, Israel said yes to the agreement, and Lebanon too, but why you didn't announce it?
Look, we don't believe we have an agreement yet. We believe we're close to an agreement. We believe that we have narrowed the gap significantly, but there are still steps that we need to see taken. But we hope that we can get there.
Those are bombs that the U.S. has provided to Israel. Do you have any information on whether that was